All right, everybody. Welcome to Fantasy Football Live with the Fantasy Sports Boss, our second fantasy cast of the season. We got the Tennessee Titans in Green Bay against the Green Bay Packers, and judging by Ryan Fitzpatrick and company, completely bundled up. It looks like it's going to be a very cold outing tonight for both teams, and certainly there's a lot to talk about. And, you know, like I did last week, it's going to be another situation where I'm going to be, doing updates as the game goes on, and trying to discuss, the intricacies of the game tonight and strategy and all that other stuff. Now, for me personally, I have Aaron Jones going in one of my leagues, and I have Alan Lazard going in both. So, I had Christian Watson and Alan Lazard on the same team in one league, and I just figured, you know what, I'm just going to wind up going with Lazard, because I think Lazard has a better path toward a decent outing tonight. Christian Watson to me has a little bit of a bounce effort, for lack of a better term, just because I think that not that last week was a fluke, but I think that it's more likely that he comes back to earth, more or less, instead of replicating what he did last week. So I'm hoping for the best there. But anyway, before I go any further, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe, hit the notification button. And like I said, I'm going to be chiming in on thoughts on this game tonight. And this is a good game. We've had a string of just complete disaster Thursday night games this season, and this is going to be a good one. Say what you will about the Titans offensively and how uninspiring they are, and especially from a fantasy perspective, how useless they are outside of Derrick Henry. But they win games, and they're very well coached, and they're always in every game. The Green Bay Packers certainly have some positive momentum coming off of the win over the Dallas Cowboys, and that should allow them to come out loose and confident. And the fact that they gave 20 carries to Aaron Jones last week, I think, was key as well. Now, the thing with the Tennessee Titans defense is that they're very stingy against the run. They've shut down a lot of big-name backs this season. They've struggled more defending the pass. So I think that, Jones, while I would love to see him have a huge game, I'm tempering my expectations just a little bit when it comes to Jones. And on the other hand, I think the passing game for the Packers is going to be pretty potent tonight. So anyway, guys, welcome in to the stream. And I did get approved for the monetization membership. There is the super chat option available now. So when the chat gets a little crazy later, when more people jump in and I might miss your question, you could always use a super chat. But again, never expected, certainly appreciated. But yeah, it's kind of cool. The new, I call it bells and whistles that you're allowed to tap into once you become a member of YouTube, when you reach the 1,000 subscriber threshold and the 4,000 viewing hours. So, but that was through you guys. So I definitely appreciate that for sure. So just on a side note for tonight, Randall Cobb is active. Not sure who that impacts more. Probably Lazard more than Watson, because Watson is the big play guy. He's the downfield guy. So, I think that it would hurt Lazard more. I'm starting Watson tonight because I have Tyreek and Metcalf on bye. Ooh, that's rough. No wide receiver depth. So playing, yeah, you know what, Javier? I had the option, because I have Lazard on both of my teams, of starting Watson in one league and starting Lazard in the other, so I have it both covered. But I just have a feeling that Lazard will have a bit of a bounce back game, and Watson certainly expecting another 3 touchdowns. It would be foolhardy, coming off such a monster game. I just don't see it again. But, I could be wrong. I would like to see the Packers open it up a little bit more, but, certainly Watson would help in that regard as well. Now, as far as before the game gets going, I talked about the Mecole Hardman injury situation. He was placed on IR. Kadarius Toney now becomes a thing. I said, Kadarius Toney's season. I think he's definitely going to be heavily targeted this week. It's going to be a good outing for him against the Chargers, who are welcoming back possibly Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. So it could be a high-scoring game. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that one. And certainly if you're a Keenan Allen owner, I mean, you'd love to see him come back into it. All right, 4.99 super chat from Dogmaster. I love your channel and videos, Mike, and always have a good time on your streams. Hey, thank you, Dogmaster. I really appreciate that. That's very nice, and certainly, thank you for the contribution. It definitely helps with the channel for sure. So I appreciate that very much. Thank you. I definitely appreciate the kind words. And I try hard, I do the best, not everybody agrees with me, and that's fine. Certainly I've had some very few, I would say 1%, less than 1% of the people have been overly nasty and critical, which, I've had to remove some of those comments, but, like one recent was very nasty about the Kyron Williams thing. And listen, I owned it. I thought he was going to have a bigger game, but, it just didn't work out. No need to be nasty. I mean, listen, I'm going to have misses. I'm also going to have some hits, and that's just how it goes. No pundit is perfect. And again, we're playing a game. I know that the legalized betting has kind of changed things, added a little bit more, I guess, drama or stress to any fantasy game or bet, what have you. But you know what? Everybody's been mostly very respectful, and I definitely appreciate that. So anyway, yes, thank you, Dogmaster. I definitely appreciate that for sure. So the other big story today is the Bills game against the Cleveland Browns moved to Detroit. And this makes sense. And I had talked about this earlier in the day, that this was the most viable option. And, personally, I'm disappointed because, there's nothing better than watching a snow game, especially a full out blizzard. The Bills Patriots game that I constantly reference to last season, that brought back, that was a fun game to watch. And then, of course, LaShawn McCoy, when he went crazy, somebody said it was the Detroit Lions, but I could have sworn it was the Indianapolis Colts when McCoy went for like 160 yards, in that one game. He just went absolutely ballistic. And I was playing McCoy that week as well. Michael P., congrats on the 1K. Love the channel. Thank you, Michael. 4.99 super chat. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. And you've been a very good follower from the beginning, so I appreciate that. But I know a lot of you chimed in that, you were facing Josh Allen, facing Stephon Diggs. So this is definitely a blow for sure. I mean, the hope was that the game was going to still be played and that Allen and Diggs would not have good games. And that's what happened last year against New England. I owned Allen and Diggs last season on a team that wound up finishing in the dreaded fourth spot, just out of the money. And one of the main reasons was that I suffered a late season loss in that game against the Patriots when I think Allen only had like 12 fantasy points and Diggs had like 8 because they couldn't get anything done in that snow and the wind. And I remember Mac Jones only threw one pass in the whole game for the Patriots. So that is the risk that you run when you invest in the Buffalo Bills. Now I know the next home game they're going to play is December 11th. So that should help at least mitigate some of the risk. But, and this is something I do look at when it comes to the draft. I like to always and use this tip next season when you're perusing the quarterbacks that you're interested in. Always look ahead to the playoff weeks. If they're playing cold weather locales, 2 of the 3 playoff weeks, I hedge a little bit. If they're playing in a dome or if they're playing, in Arizona or against the Rams in Los Angeles, then that's attractive to me. So, like if you're playing the Atlanta Falcons, you're playing the Detroit Lions, those are attractive playoff, opportunities for fantasy quarterbacks. So that's something that I always look at each season as well. So, again, personally, I'm disappointed because I'd like to have seen a snow game, but you know what? It definitely was the right move. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys caught the news reports, and there's a state of emergency here in New York for the upstate region. 4 to 6 feet. I mean, I can't even conceive of what that's like. How you even attempt to clear that out. Now, I live on Long Island, which, we've had our own nasty storms over the years, nothing to that extent. And, the lake effect snows that come through there are just beyond insane. And, but when you're talking about 6 feet, again, I don't even know what you do with that. And, you're probably trapped in your home, I guess, for like a week at least. Allen, trade Tua for Burrow for the playoffs. I want to say, Allen, that Tua, I don't think I liked his playoff weeks. I'm not sure if you want to take a look at that real quick, but if I recall correctly, I think Tua did not have the best slate when it comes to the playoffs. Now, listen, there's no denying the fact that Tua is an MVP candidate. I don't think there's any question anymore that the guy can play, and he plays and play at a very high level. He's been the biggest shocker for me this season. And he's averaging 9 yards per attempt, which, for a guy that we all criticize of being a dink and dunk quarterback, he has really, really exceeded expectations on a grand scale. So DeAndre Swift practiced in full today with his ankle shoulder injury. So he's going to be good to go. He's going against the Giants, which, certainly is always a good matchup. Joe Castle's $1.99, Scary Terry or Watson. Thank you, Joe, for the contribution. I really appreciate that. Scary Terry or Watson. I'm going to go with Terry. I think Terry, listen, Terry McLaurin has been really good with Taylor Heineke, and Heineke's going to get the start this week. So I think you got to ride that out. Watson, I could be wrong, and Joe, don't hate on me if he scores a touchdown. He very well could. I just like to go with the odds, and the odds are that Watson comes back to earth today. Meanwhile, Terry McLaurin has been good every week. So did you see that they had to pack up a carnival in Detroit to move the Buffalo game there? I did not see that, Michael P. Listen, the NFL with all the money involved, I guess that's how it goes, right? I mean, everybody gets out of the way for the NFL. All right, so we're just about, what'll be 13 minutes away from kickoff. So I'm really looking forward to this game. I think this is going to be a fun game for sure. Speaking of Josh Allen, was limited in practice Thursday. Listen, he's going to play. Allen guts through everything. He's a tough guy. He shouldn't have played last week. He played like crap. Anybody could have seen that coming for sure. But, I'll give the guy props. But just like the concerns I have with Matthew Stafford with the elbow and his own UCL injury, I think there is valid concern about Josh Allen the rest of the way. Gus Edwards practiced with the hamstring. He should be good to go. Tua plays in Buffalo week 15, which is not a good matchup. Then Green Bay, then in New England. Yeah, Allen, those are two potential snow win games. So I would be out on Tua in terms of playoffs if you're weighing a trade to try to get somebody with a good schedule. Lamar Jackson, the reason why I drafted Lamar Jackson, I know he plays in Baltimore, but I believe and again, I don't have the schedule in front of me, but I believe Lamar Jackson had a very appetizing playoff schedule. So that's why I went with him. Let me check. Let me see what the Ravens, I'm curious now. I don't remember. All right. So they're at Cleveland in the first round of the fantasy playoffs, which, that's certainly a winter situation, but then they have Atlanta at home. And then they're home to Pittsburgh. So I don't know what I'm talking about with that one. So they're all in winter climates. They get Atlanta, which is certainly an attractive, option. There's some light snow falling in this game, very light, but still. Hopefully, we get some snow for this one. That would be nice. Mark Andrews was absent from the portion of the Ravens practice that was open to the media today. That happened yesterday as well. He did get in a limited tag. So I think that Andrews is 50-50 to go, and with the shoulder injury. And certainly it's gotten very concerning with him. And this injury turned out to be a little bit more serious than maybe was originally believed. And the real shame of it all is that Andrews had such a monster start to the season. And honestly, other than Travis Kelce, he's the best fantasy tight end there is. His absence combined with Dallas Goedert's absence really thrown the tight end position in flux. At least for this week and going forward when it comes to Goddard. Jerry Jeudy did not practice Thursday. He's got this ankle injury. Back-to-back DNPs is probably makes it unlikely that he plays this week. So Cortland Sutton's going to get a lot of work. KJ Hamler is not playing as well. So, Sutton actually could be in line for a significant amount of work in this game. But again, it's been so god-awful with Russell Wilson that it's hard to get excited for anybody on this Denver offense. How do we see his health being as we approach the fantasy playoffs? If you're talking about Josh Allen, listen, a UCL injury needs to be surgically repaired, Javier. So I don't see that improving unless he eventually has some sort of procedure on it to make it better. Do you think Henry can rush for 100-plus yards today? The Green Bay defensive line has given up a lot of rushing yards of late. They were torn apart by Tony Pollard last week. So I think absolutely Derrick Henry could get 100 yards. The one thing about Henry, the rushing totals and the average per carry have sank over the last couple of weeks. And remember, he's 28, a lot of mileage. So Is he wearing down now? As a running back gets older, they tend to wear down earlier and earlier each season as they get older. So that's something I'm looking forward to seeing what happens tonight as well. Excited to watch some football. Yeah, me too, Jada. I think this is like I said, the rare appetizing Thursday night game. I think this is going to be a good one. Bo Edward, good to see you, boss. Hope you're doing well. Bo, I'm doing very well. Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope you're doing well as well. David Njoku practiced on Thursday. So Njoku looks like he could return this week. Let's see, may not be, it was a high ankle sprain, and that's certainly a tough one to come back from. That's always a multiple game absence. If Njoku does return, I think there's a possibility he's on the snap count. When guys come off such a long layoff, they usually don't get a full allotment of reps right off the bat. But listen, Njoku's been really good, and Deshaun Watson is coming right around the bend here. So, you talk about league-winning quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson could be a league-winning quarterback. Just like I said earlier today, Kadarius Toney could be a league-winning wide receiver. So, that's something to keep an eye on there in terms of Njoku. So, Matthew Stafford will be cleared and will start, according to Ian Rappaport, Week 11 against the Saints. So this is a good thing for Allen Robinson as a flex. Tyler Higbee is definitely startable this week. And again, with all the injuries, if you're a Dallas Goedert owner, I would look to try to see if Tyler Higbee's available. I know he went through a little bit of a rut and he was dropped in some leagues. Van Jefferson is an all or nothing deep threat, so I don't think it affects him. Ben Skoranek, I picked him up, and I'm just going to keep him on the bench and just see what takes place here, because Kupp's going to be out for at least 4 games, likely longer, could be the whole season. So if Skoranek comes out and has a big game, then I'm more willing to use him next week. If you're not going to play Watson against this easy matchup, when will you start him? DH, the reason why I didn't start him is because I have Allen Lazard. So I went with Lazard because I think they're going to get him back involved in this game, and I could be wrong, and that's why we're watching it together. So this will be fun to see if I'm going to be right or wrong on this. So I'm not a big better, like the DraftKings and any of this stuff, but if there was a bet for Lazard and Watson having more fantasy points, I think I would go with Lazard tonight. That's just my take on it. Marquise Brown did participate in Thursday's practice, so he didn't do all the individual drills, but this is interesting. Now, the Monday start is not ideal. If you have Rondale Moore and Marquise Brown, then you could play it out. If Brown plays, maybe you put him in. But again, I really think he will be on a snap count. So I wouldn't go crazy with Marquise Brown. But the fact that he will be able to play next week, and then I believe they have a bye, is certainly attractive. The only problem is Kyler Murray is probably not going to play again for the second week in a row with this hamstring injury. So I think that is something to be concerned about. Nigel with a super chat. Lamb and Winston for JT, half PPR. Lamb and Wilson for JT. I like the Lamb Wilson side better, Nigel. And again, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that greatly. Thank you. So I like CeeDee Lamb a lot. I wouldn't trade him. And Jeff Wilson it looks like he's getting the majority of carries right now. So I think that, while I do like JT the rest of the season, I still like that Lamb and Wilson better. But that's just my opinion. I mean, I think if you made the trade, it wouldn't be horrible, but I would prefer to keep Lamb and Wilson. And again, thank you for the super chat, RSD 100. I really appreciate that. Start Drake London or Kmet flex. So Kmet was a little banged up. He says he's fine. I would start Kmet in the flex because they're playing the Atlanta Falcons, and Justin Fields and Kmet are really on a roll right now. So I think Kmet's got 4 or 5 touchdowns in the last 3 or 4 games, which is insane. So you talk about a tight end that's really making a difference. Halfway through the season, it's him. All right, so the Titans are getting the ball first. I'm really curious to see what happens too with Treylon Burks. I had a water bottle over here somewhere. Excuse me for a second, guys. I'm really curious to see what they do with Treylon Burks in this game, and it is snowing, so that's cool. Maybe it'll get heavier as the game goes on. Pickens or Brian Robinson in the flex. I'm going to go with Brian Robinson because I really like the workload that he's getting. So it looks like moderate return there. And here comes Ryan Tannehill. And listen, there might not be a more boring quarterback in fantasy football than Ryan Tannehill. I mean, it's just he's had moments of fantasy relevancy in the past, but the last season plus, definitely not. Joe Castle's another super chat, $4.99. You don't have to keep doing that, Joe. Thank you. I appreciate it. What do you think of Pacheco and flex this week? Do you like Slayton this week? I think Slayton is very hit or miss. He's capable of he's how can I describe it? I don't know if you remember Torrey Smith with the Baltimore Ravens. That's who I would compare him to. He could pop and have this one really big reception like he did last week, or he could be completely out of the offense. I like Pacheco better. Clearly, CEH is on the outs. It's Pacheco's team now in terms of running the football, being the major bell cow back there. And this is headed for a shootout. So while he may not catch a lot of passes, I think he's going to get a decent amount of rushing opportunities. And the snow's actually coming down at a somewhat decent clip right now. Rodgers about to have a great game. I think Michael P., I think so too. I think he's going to have a decent game here. And Tannehill's already first pass incomplete. Nigel, my team's Justin Herbert, CMC, Connor. Okay, listen, James Conner played well last week, so things are looking up for him. And they're going to look up for Justin Herbert too now that he's getting Allen and Mike Williams back. Being Brian Robinson, I'm not a huge fan of Robinson, but you definitely, Nigel, it looks like you use the handcuff strategy very well here. Rashad White, Lamb, Amon, Rob Pittman, your receivers are great. Tony Wilson. Listen, the team looks good. You got to hope CMC stays healthy. I would try to make a trade for Elijah Mitchell, though, Nigel, just so you can back him up. Something were to happen to McCaffrey, because we know that Elijah Mitchell can do big things when McCaffrey is out. So Henry, with his first carry, doesn't go for much. Ezekiel Elliott practiced on Thursday, took part in individual drills. So, I think it looks like that Elliott's going to play, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because, we all just want to see Tony Pollard, who's rushed for 100 yards each of the last 2 weeks. And we just don't want to see, Elliott taking opportunities away. All right, so 3rd and 7, big early play here. And I got to be careful how much I narrate these games because I can get a copyright for that. So I got to keep the volume down too because they'll flag you for that. All right, so Tannehill going deep. And wow, he connects. Treylon Burks, there we go. And I have Treylon Burks on the bench in one of my leagues. I'm just waiting for him to finally pop off. And you know what? He's sort of in the same situation as Christian Watson. A couple of guys that battled injuries, first-round picks that battled injuries, took some time to find their footing at the NFL level. And now the talent might be starting to take over. It's early, man, but Burks looked good. Yeah, he did look good. Yeah, good separation. Yeah, he opened up pretty good. He definitely gained some nice separation right off the bat there. So DeAndre Hopkins was held out of practice today. Not sure what the issue was. It could be a rest day. You don't like to see midweek missed practices, but something to keep an eye on for tomorrow. Kyler Murray. All right, so, I said Murray is not going to play this week. He did practice today. I actually missed this. I didn't even know he practiced today. So did Colt McCoy. So that was good that Murray practiced. If he does practice tomorrow, then maybe I would think he would go. And if you own DeAndre Hopkins, you own Rondale Moore, and eventually Marquise Brown when he gets his full allotment of carries back, I think. And Derrick Henry with a catch here, right? That is Henry, right? Yep. So, I think we need Kyler Murray back if you're an owner of any of these Cardinals wide receivers. And I know Trey McBride some people are looking at Trey McBride, a little bit this week. The rookie tight end there for Arizona. But I don't see, if you're looking for a streamer, I think you can do a lot better than Trey McBride. All right. So we talked about Wan'Dale Robinson. So a first down for Tennessee here. So this is a good opening drive. And, when Derrick Henry catches a pass, you consider that a bonus for sure. So I think that, Henry looks good tonight. He's getting to the edge. Green Bay defense. Listen, the Green Bay defense hasn't exactly been great stopping the run of late. They just got chewed up and spit out by Tony Pollard last week. So, Henry could be set to have a big game here. If Keenan and Mike Williams are good to go, who would you start? I'm considering Palmer and Dulcich if they're not. Well, you definitely start Palmer if either one of those guys doesn't play. Dulcich, he only caught one pass last week, but I do think he'll maybe get some more targets with Jerry Jeudy being out. So Joe, I would be fine with each of them. All right, so another first down. Wow, Tannehill actually looks pretty sharp today too. So this is a good first drive. This is a good side for Tennessee. And the snow, look at that shot. The snow is definitely starting to pick up now. I always find it interesting with getting those big hits in the cold. Must sing. Yeah, definitely for sure. It's pretty miserable playing in weather like this. But you know what? The players actually do enjoy it too. There's something fun always as a kid too. Going out and playing in the snow and whatnot. So another first down. The Tennessee's throwing the ball a lot more than I thought. Green Bay's got a solid secondary with Alexander, and I didn't expect it to be this pronounced in terms of the passing game. Look at this. Wow, Dontrell Hilliard, touchdown. So there you go. So listen, and if you own Christian Watson, if you own Allen Lazard, they're going to have to throw the football now because they're trailing. And this is what goes through my head as a fantasy football owner. I'm like, all right, great. Tennessee scored a touchdown. So now they're going to have to throw the ball. Allen Lazard, Christian Watson, going to get some decent opportunities. How long do you think it's before Warren's season in Pittsburgh? I'm not sure it's going to get to Warren's season. Najee Harris is banged up, but he got, I think he had something like 20 carries last week. So Mike Tomlin is pretty stubborn right now when it comes to Najee Harris. Now, I know Harris did some good things for him last season. Maybe that's why he feels a little bit, committed. And the extra point is good. So it's 7-0. He maybe feel like a little bit committed to Najee Harris. I think it is frustrating because, again, there's been multiple instances this season, like with Khalil Herbert in Chicago and Tony Pollard in Dallas, of the backup being clearly better than the starter. And, Najee Harris, for all the fantasy points he put up last season, that enabled him to be a late first-round pick, early second-round pick. It wasn't very efficient. He averaged less than 4 yards per carry. He was constantly peppered by Big Ben, around the the line of scrimmage because Big Ben just couldn't throw the ball down the field. So he really benefited from that. And I think it really inflated his value. So, but listen, Warren has been good on a per touch basis. He's showing good explosiveness. He's able to get to the outside. He catches the ball really well. So, and listen, he outscored Najee Harris last week and had, half the touches. How do you rate Donovan Peoples-Jones? I ended up picking up Paris Campbell, Watson, and DPJ to start because of buys. Wow, Javier, you really got destroyed with the buys if you're starting all those guys. Peoples-Jones, he's sort of like a Steve, I almost said Steve Slayton, Darius Slayton that, or a Treylon Burks, a big play guy down the field, not going to post a lot of catches, not going to get a lot of targets. That's going to be Amari Cooper in this offense. But there's always a possibility of him scoring a touchdown each and every week because of his big play capability. But I'm not in love with Peoples-Jones. I never had the pull to even look for him to see if he's available. I'm not a big fan of this Cleveland offense with Brissett at quarterback. Brissett hasn't been terrible, but I'm still leery about anybody not named Amari Cooper in this offense, at least in terms of the passing game, until Deshaun Watson comes back. And when Deshaun Watson comes back, I think Amari Cooper is absolutely going to explode and take off. And it is possible, too, that Donovan Peoples-Jones, will be the deep threat in this offense that scores quite a bit of touchdowns because we know Watson likes to sling it down the field as well. So what was that guy's name? He's not playing right now with the Texans, the deep threat guy that was always hurt from Notre Dame. I think he was from Notre Dame. Help me out, guys. He's not playing right now. He had the steroid suspension. That's who Peoples-Jones could be with Watson under center. Oh, man, I can't think of that guy's name. With the Texans, played alongside DeAndre Hopkins, was always hurt. Big deep threat guy. I cannot remember his name. Somebody will get it. Just post it in the chat if you can remember this guy's name. Oh man, I cannot remember. My memory is getting worse as I get older. All right, so here comes Rogers. I'm really curious to see now what happens here on this first drive. Uh, I have a hunch that Alan Lazard's going to catch the first. Will Fuller, there it is. Thank you, Javier. Will Fuller. Yeah, so I think Donovan Peoples-Jones could be a Will Fuller. When Deshaun Watson gets back under center here. Is there? I mean, there's a flag on every single return. I mean, it's ridiculous. They should just take the return out of football. Honestly, it's pointless. There's always a penalty. So Aaron Jones, my guy, Alan Lazard. Hopefully, I get off to a good start. And honestly, guys, it's been bad all season for me on Thursday night. Whenever I have a player going, he shits the bed. Whenever my opponent has somebody going on Thursday night, they go absolutely ballistic. So, I'm hoping that changes tonight. I'm a little pessimistic about Aaron Jones against this Tennessee rush defense, which has been very good. You beat Tennessee through the air, not on the ground. And I actually think Aaron Jones should be targeted more, but that's neither here nor there. So Jones gets the first carry and gets absolutely nothing. Yeah, you know what? This Tennessee run defense is really good, and we're going to see that tonight. It's going to be a challenge for Jones for sure. So, who do we think? Does Watson or Lazard catch the first pass? What do you think? I mean, I think Lazard, but I also think that Rodgers might have a new man crush on Christian Watson because he just kept going back to him at Lazard's expense last week. So I think they're going to throw it here. They're in a passing formation. Oh, all right. Little flip to Jones. All right. So that was flipped backwards. So that's not going to be a pass. That's going to be a run, right? So, sometimes they score that funny. I'm just going to look real quick to see what they gave Jones on that. Did they give him a catch or a run? Yeah, no, it was a run. Yeah, they flipped it backwards. So, I think it's going to be Lazard too. So Javier's got Watson. I do like the way that they're incorporating Aaron Jones much more in the offense. That was the key for their performance last week. And, I think going forward, if they want to get back into playoff contention, so Rodgers throwing, oh my God, he had Tanyan open too. So he was going to Tanyan. So 3 and out. Oh man, that is not what I expected there. One thing about Rodgers this season, he's missing a lot of gimmies. He's been missing more passes than I can remember. Guys that are wide open and whatnot. So here's an interesting situation now. If Tennessee comes down and scores again, that's going to change the whole game plan now for the Packers. In that, if you're an Aaron Jones owner like myself, it might become more pass heavy, which will hurt Jones in terms of his rushing yardage. So, one thing too, AJ Dillon just has not been good at all this season. Honestly, I'm very disappointed in AJ Dillon. You have to still own him because again, if Aaron Jones, and we've had an Aaron Jones injury scare already this season, if he were to get injured again, then you have a potential top 10 fantasy back. Hello, Adam. Nice to join us. Where you been, Adam? Come on, man. You got to be on time. No, I'm just kidding. If you always have to have AJ Dillon because again, if something happens to Jones, then you have a potential top guy. And the handcuff running back strategy has worked really well this season. Anybody that's been following that from the week one, you got Benjamin, Jaylen Warren, Jeff Wilson right off the bat. So there's been a lot of even Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker was dropped in quite a bit of leagues, early this season, and now he's a league winner. So that I think you got to keep up with the running back strategy, and even next season, make sure you do that from week one because if your league allows it, which they should, there's nothing wrong with it. Everybody should try it. Then you definitely do it there. So yeah, that's disappointing. So no Alan Lazard and no Christian Watson on the first drive. When you have a receiver in your fantasy team, you want them to get something on that first drive, but so not the best start for Green Bay in this one. And this is a huge game for Green Bay, honestly, because if they have any illusions of making the playoffs, especially coming off this win against Dallas, which was a huge win, potential season saver, they have to build on that now. So, it is imperative that they win this game. What was the? Let me see here. I'll just take a look at the injury report again. Make sure you keep posting your questions, guys. So, Um, yeah, so I'm also interested to see what happens with the Bears here with Justin Fields. Now I know they're playing the Falcons. He's had 40 plus fantasy points each of the last 2 weeks. Absolute like insanity in terms of his numbers. Right now, I have him starting in both of my leagues ahead of Lamar Jackson. So, if I would have said that to you in the beginning of the year, you would have been like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Let me go find another channel. Will Fuller, ML. I couldn't remember the guy because somebody asked me about Donovan Peoples-Jones, and I was comparing him to Will Fuller, and I just couldn't remember Will Fuller's name because when Deshaun Watson comes back, I think that Peoples-Jones will be somebody that could be a Will Fuller in that offense. I have Sutton, Tony, Olave, Deontay Johnson. God, Deontay Johnson's been bad. Garrett Wilson, Allen Robinson. I need 3 to start. I was thinking Olave, Sutton, and Tony. Definitely Tony. Definitely Olave. I don't trust Allen Robinson, and I have no use for Deontay Johnson right now. So, yeah, I would go Sutton. Sutton's been bad too. It's and I put Sutton in that grouping of Kenny Galladay, Allen Robinson, guys who don't have good separation, but they're physical. They win jump balls. They fight for the football, and that's how they have their success. But when you lose a step as you get into your upper 20s, approaching 30, like Galladay has, like Allen Robinson has, you could turn to shit almost overnight. Big sack here for Green Bay. Big sack there. Let's see, who was that? Preston Smith. Preston Smith has been really one of the more underrated pass rushers in the NFL the last couple of years. So I am concerned about Tony. Not Tony. Definitely not concerned about Tony. He can get separation on anybody. Definitely concerned about Sutton a little bit, but the target should be there with no Jerry Jeudy. And the thing is with Tony too, Macaulay Hardman's a free agent. They're not going to bring him back unless they can get a 1-year deal for him. Juju Smith-Schuster, they might bring him back, but he's a free agent as well. Kadarius Toney has a chance to really explode big time next season. So 3rd and 17, give up running play to Hilliard. So Tennessee now is going to punt. So they really couldn't sustain anything off of that first drive. So Green Bay is going to get the ball back. I expect to see A.J. Dillon now in the backfield when the Packers get the ball. And that's frustrating. That's annoying if you're an Aaron Jones owner with A.J. Dillon out there. But, it's LaFleur just seems committed to this 2-back system. I'm a Chiefs fan, and Hardman is on IR. Yeah, Adam, and it must be nice being a Chiefs fan because you're set up for like the next 5, 6, 7 years, probably the next 10 years with Pat Mahomes as your quarterback. I mean, it's insane the amount of talent. And Adam, I'm a Giants fan, and you got Kadarius Toney from us. He was a real dog here. I mean, he did nothing. He didn't want to play. He was constantly hurt. I think he was dogging it, but now he's with you guys, and I think it was a great trade for the Chiefs because the talent is there. He's very explosive. He has a lot of natural ability and speed. If he could just keep his head on straight and just stay away from the injuries, I think it's going to turn out to be a tremendous trade. And here's the thing too: when you're with a team that's lost as long as the Giants have, it's easy to act like an asshole and to not do the right thing. But when you go to a ready-made, one of the best teams in the NFL with a larger-than-life quarterback and a larger-than-life coach, you better fall in line. And there's pressure on Tony. He feels it when he goes there. Listen, I better get my ass in gear. Mahomes not going to stand for that. Andy Reid's not going to stand for that. And I think that's what he's feeling now and why he's literally hitting the ground running. Cordell Patterson or Zeke? Oh, God. Neither. I guess I'd have to say I don't like either guy. I guess I'd have to say Patterson. I don't know how many snaps Zeke is going to get. The only thing, though, is Zeke might have the better touchdown potential, JS. So, and then not throwing to Patterson. You know what? I'll say Zeke. I just because he has a better touchdown percentage. Sorry to waffle there. I think Zeke would be the better one. Need everyone's opinion, Cordell Patterson or Zeke. Yeah, I'm going to say Zeke. What do you guys think? I just think he has a better chance to score than Patterson. And there's only one other option there with Pollard, whereas in Atlanta, they got like 3 other guys that run the football. Tony was a good pickup for me for sure. Need that was, I was very, I wasn't sold on that for at least for this year. I thought it was a good trade, but I think it was more for next season. But then the injuries really opened up opportunities for Tony. He can do everything, run the ball, great elusiveness, fat. Yep, he can win 50. He can do everything for sure. But again, the guy's a head case. He's going to say stupid shit. You know, he's got this burgeoning rap career. Lil Joka, I think is his name, his rap name. You know, he just, if you see him on Twitter, like it's not even English, whatever he's typing out. Like it's just, you know, the guy, he sounds like a moron. But listen, the natural talent is there, and that's why he was a first-round pick. Defense rest of the season, Green Bay, Minnesota, Kansas City. Yeah, Kansas City's defense hasn't been that bad. Green Bay can get after the quarterback. I do like Green Bay's defense, although they haven't looked good the last couple of weeks. Aaron Jones is still out there, so that is a really good sign. I would have to say Kansas City. You know, Minnesota, haven't been impressed with Minnesota. All right, so who's catching the first ball here? Let's see. All right, big hole for Aaron Jones. 9 yards on first down. Nice. I'm looking for 100 yards from Aaron Jones. As an Aaron Jones owner, I'm really liking what I'm seeing the last couple of weeks out of Aaron Jones. Chiefs D's like, yeah, they do get to the quarterback, Adam, for sure. You know, Tanya, you remember, Tanya was a guy that I said he would, that was worth looking into in deeper leagues at tight end because he's had a good rapport with Rodgers in the past, especially around the red zone. So, you know, I think Tanya is still a decent play in deeper leagues here. So, yeah, Rodgers is wrapped up pretty good. So it looks like he's still dealing with that thumb injury. Running it again, first down. So, listen, it's obvious what this new offense for Green Bay starting last week, what it's all about. It's all about Aaron Jones now. It's all about running the football. You know, it's working. So you can't argue with the results. I mean, they beat Dallas, huge game last week. They're finding success already running the football against a very stout, although somewhat beat up Tennessee front seven. So definitely liking what I'm seeing right now. So still no pass completions though. I'm hoping Alan Lazard has a decent. I hope I don't regret not playing Christian Watson. And there's Jones again with a catch. Boy, he didn't get anywhere with that one. So, oh God, it scared me. It looked like he was struggling to get up. You know, and that's the thing too. When you're running back, I know for me, every time my running back gets tackled, I like hold my breath that they get up. You know, like I can't even imagine what it's like to be a Cooper Kupp owner right now, or even to a lesser extent Dallas Goedert. Because when you suffer such a huge injury like that, it's just just really devastating for your fantasy football team. You could be rolling, you know, having a great season, and then that happens. Is Swift startable now that he's a full participant? I think he's a flex play. I don't think he's a running back too. And who would have thought that we would say that? Oh, tell me that's Randall Cobb. Well, we were all wrong. All right, old reliable Randall Cobb. Who would have thought that, huh? This game is weird already. Anyway, getting back to DeAndre Swift, there's no sugarcoating it. Right now, you're just hoping to salvage the season fantasy-wise, whatever investment you made in DeAndre Swift. And listen, when he went at the end of the first round, or even better, the beginning of the second round, I thought, you know what? Great pick. Great pick. Both drafts that I was in, and whoever took DeAndre Swift, I said, great pick. He's going to have a huge year. And the infatuation with Jamal Williams that Dan Campbell has just ruined it, plus the injuries. You know, Swift, for whatever reason, just can't stay on the field, and he takes some blame for that. Yeah, Javier, I was not expecting that either. And there's A.J. Dillon doing his David Montgomery impersonation. You know, I almost think he's just too big. He just can't get up to speed fast enough, A.J. Dillon. That's the problem. He carries so much weight, so much muscle that it just takes him a couple of steps just to get any semblance of speed. And by, you know, against an NFL defense, it's just not going to cut it. Do you think Rodgers is a problem with Green Bay? Toxic like? He's always been toxic like, Michael. I don't know if it's completely that. I think he's lost faith in the coaching staff. Wow, look at that. A.J. Dillon with a catch. And you know what? He caught 30-something balls last season, so I got to give him credit. But anyway, as far as at Rodgers, this has always been at Rodgers' MO. He's a baby. He's a whiner. You don't want to lay in a foxhole with Aaron Rodgers. the guy's a jerk. Let's face it. Throwing his teammates under the bus earlier in the season when he didn't even show up at OTAs. I mean, give me a break, dude. Just shut up. Like you have no right to criticize anybody when you don't even show up for OTAs. So I just don't think that there's any, I think it's just the usual nonsense with Aaron Rodgers here. So, all right, where's Alan Lazard, man? Come on. Nice cut. Uh-oh. That's the second time Jones has fumbled. He fumbled last week, and they got it back. Yeah, he fumbled again here. It looks like he's slow to get up, too. Man, don't be hurt. Come on, Jones. That was a big hit. Yeah, that wasn't good ball protection either. He's got to be high and tight with that one. Looks like he's coming out now for A.J. Dillon. I hope he's not hurt. All right, Dogmaster, $1.99 super chat. Thank you. How often will you stream? Gonna stream as much as I can. Probably 5 times a week, hopefully 4 to 5 times a week. So Jones just put the jacket on. I hope that doesn't mean anything. That and there's Tanyan. Whoever said Tanyan, you win. That somebody guessed Tanyan. That you whoever, I think Michael P, was that you? So listen, if Aaron Jones is hurt, I'm going to lose it right now. I can't deal with another Aaron Jones injury. Nothing with Christian Watson yet. Nothing with Aaron Lazard yet. And the Aaron Lazard thing is weird to me. Like it's been Rodgers' safety valve the last couple of weeks. Really for a majority of the season, and it's just not happening right now. So I don't know what Rodgers is looking at, to be honest with you. Everyone's got a jacket on it, but yeah, I know I'm John. I'm just being like, overly paranoid about my guy there, just because we had a scare last week. All right, there he is. All right, Alan Lazard. All right, so Alan Lazard, my guy, caught a pass before Watson. So I'm ahead of the game now when I said he'd have more fantasy points than Christian Watson. Which two should I play? Pittman, Rondale, Tony, or Mike Williams? The only problem with Pittman is he's getting Darius Slay. Darius Slay, Sauce Gardner, and the guy on Denver. You always have to check every week to see who they're going against, and then you have to be careful with the receivers that are going to be going against them. All right, so Jones back in, thank God. I would say if Kyler Murray plays, I'm definitely going Rondale. That's for sure. I would play Tony. Mike Williams, DH, I'm not sure about. I'm thinking Rondale and Tony. Wow, hurry up there for Green Bay. They got a free play. He's chucking it into the end zone. Oh, my God. Who was that? Oh, my God. It's Watson. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, shit. Well, there you go. Wow. I made the wrong call, at least so far. Man, this guy's got skills. Holy cow, what a catch. Listen, this is a veteran move, too. Rodgers saw it right away. Oh, man, I didn't trust my gut on this one. So Watson, and not who is that in coverage? I mean, what a shit job that was. I mean, you got to be kidding me. That was just get your hands up. I mean, turn your head around and get your hands up. That was awful. Great play though by Watson. Oh man, what a special teams this season been ugly. See the part of the broadcast where Rodgers had something with his hand, but yeah, he's got a wrap on the thumb. Everyone, which two shot? Okay, so I'm worried he might not be looking at deep balls. Well, yeah, Javier, that's not an issue now. Looking for fumble from Henry with the sleeves on. It could be. The sleeves are always a problem when it comes to fumbles. What are the odds Cup plays week 16? Cup's going to want to come back and play. The question is, do they shut him down? I think if Cup says he wants to play, he's going to play. So I think there is a chance, Griffin, that he will be in the lineup. Looks like Watson took. Yeah, Michael P. It looks like, that's certainly possible. So let me see now on that team that I have Lazard. So Watson's got 8.4 fantasy points on one catch, and Alan Lazard's got 1.2. Aaron Jones, 3.1, 6 carries for 20 yards and a catch for 1 yard. Oh, man. So, you know what? It looks like Aaron Rodgers is definitely making it a point. So, the end of the first quarter, making it a point to look Christian Watson's way around the red zone almost every time. So, I think that going forward, Watson probably is a wide receiver 3. I wasn't ready to go there yet. I wanted, I had him as a flex this week, but I like to see more than one game before I totally dive in on a guy. We're already seeing it with Watson here. Man, if he scores a second touchdown, I'm going to throw up. I'll probably throw up live on the stream if he catches another touchdown. Listen, I'm just like you guys. I make some bad choices sometimes. I really thought Lazard was going to have a bigger game than Watson, but not that I wasn't a believer in Watson, but man, this guy's got skills. All right, if I'm Rams, I'm shutting him down. Yeah, you know what? They could. But again, Cooper Kupp has such respect and pull that I think if he wants to play, he's going to play. Should I trade Tony for Kupp when all that matters is I win week 16? I mean, Griffin, I don't know about that. I mean, did somebody offer you Kupp for Tony? I mean, if somebody offered you that, I would consider it. But I mean, let's see. If he's going to miss 4 weeks, what are we in? Week 11? So 11, 12, 13, 14. I don't think he's back for 15 either. That's a tough one, man. I don't even know. I mean, if you have good depth at receiver and you don't need Tony, then I would do it. But I don't know about that one. If you would throw up the move the computer, yeah, right. I'm gonna move the computer for sure, Javier. Yeah, definitely. And right, I mean, is there's nothing worse, right, guys, when you don't play somebody and you watch them go off for like 2 touchdowns. Like there's just like nothing worse. Like when you're hemming and hawing about a guy and you make the wrong call and you just stare and watch them go crazy the entire game. It's like the worst. Gabe Davis or Olave rest of season? Olave. Olave's the guy in that offense. Davis is not. Stephon Diggs is. Swift or Fournette rest of season? Fournette. And I have Fournette in both of my leagues. I'm definitely worried. And I have Rashad White as well. So now I'm going to have to wrestle with that decision. Which one do I start? Looks like I'm going to have to probably go Rashad White. But, that's a mess there in Tampa, that running back situation. Bubba Fett, I just don't like Swift. I mean, I like him as a player. I just don't like the setup. Success, not overthinking it. Yeah, you know what? One thing about doing this, as more than a hobby, but you overanalyze everything. I watch every game. I look for every stat, and I tend to dive in on it more than I should, and it leads to mistakes. It definitely does. Sometimes you just set it and forget it. That's the best way to go. Foreman or Swift non PPR. Non PPR. If it's a standard, you go Foreman because he's gonna have the better chance to score. Jamal Williams is gonna get the goal line carries above a fat. So that you got to go with him for sure. All right, so let's see what Tennessee does here now. Let's see how they respond. Buccaneers or Eagles? I think the Eagles have the better chance to win the Super Bowl for sure. All right, let's see. Derrick Henry. What is he going to do here? All right, so wow, he just got stuffed. I don't know. For me, it looks like Henry's has looked a step slower over the last couple of weeks. I think he's wearing down somewhat as the season goes on. And remember, he's 28 years old. He's got a lot of mileage on him. So I'm not as optimistic of the rest of the season when it comes to Henry. All right. So is Tennessee going to air it out a little bit here with Burks, or what's going to happen here? D-Hop injury serious or not? Daniel, I really, what's funny because he was held out of practice today. I didn't really get a lot of information on that. That one kind of slipped by me. Nice throw. Who is that? Is that Westbrook Akine? Yeah, Westbrook Akine. Boy, he had a game last week. I'm going to see. I didn't really see anything about DeAndre Hopkins. It's a hamstring. Uh-oh. That's not good. You don't want to hear anything about hamstrings. All right. Let's see. I'm going to find that game so we could talk about it. And you know, again, guys, just like Keenan Allen, when you hit the Mike Evans is banged up. When you hit the age of 30, trouble starts with the soft tissue injuries. So is that happening again with DeAndre Hopkins? I don't know. So he was absent Thursday because of a hamstring. Wonderful. Wonderful. I have him in one of my leagues. So, you know, that's what the league that I'm frustrated in. I'm 6-4, but it's been a struggle. I have DeAndre Hopkins in that league. First time I've watched the Titans for a full game as they don't have any players from that team. Is it normal for Henry to come in and out constantly? I think they're trying to manage his workload, Javier, because again, he is an aging back. And I think that there is the thought that, you know, this team should make the playoffs. So maybe, and listen, Dontrell Hilliard's got ability. You know, he's shown it. He's obviously he scored tonight. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, and it's 26 degrees. Wow, it is cold there. So maybe they usually don't pull in and out as much, but I think that, you know, certainly they might be trying to manage his workload for sure. All right, so this is a 2nd and 11 here. What do they do here? I mean, Burks had the one big catch. Yeah, again, nothing happened in the running game. So the Packers defense looks like they're ready to play tonight. He touched on Skoranek today. I think he's a flex player. Wait and see. I picked him up just in case. He's a wait and see. You know, I like the fact that he plays in the slot. He's been semi-useful already this season. Matthew Stafford likes him. You know, I think that he's got ability, and it works well with this offense. But I don't think you play him. I think you got to watch to see what he does here. All right, let's see. 3rd and 10. Maybe they look toward Burks here. Nice throw. Who was that? Hooper. Austin Hooper. Still hanging around. I tell you what, Tannehill's been on the money tonight. He's throwing some darts. He's really fitted into some tight spaces. They got a first down, so you know, Tannehill's doing his thing right now. So, and you know, Tannehill, honestly, you know, he's not much of a runner anymore, but for a couple of years there, he was you know, semi fantasy useful, especially in flex plays. All right, let's see there. All right. He got the first down. All right, yeah, one of my kids walking in the background there. All right, the other thing I wanted to talk about. So somebody asked me about vetoing trades. My thing with vetoing trades always, and there's one of my kids. One thing about vetoing trades is that it should never happen. All right, if you're in a league where you think there's collusion, first of all, get into a better league. All right. Yeah, I don't know why they're challenging that either. Yeah, and guys, you know what? When you do the stream and you're in the basement of your home, sometimes, you know, anybody that has kids that tried to do Zoom calls during the pandemic, you know, sometimes that happens. So, and if you didn't notice, that Emma Kineski, that's my daughter. She's typing into the chat right now. So, anyway, hey, you know what? It's nice when your kids support you, right? But anyway, getting back to the to vetoing trades, I don't think you should ever veto trades ever. Okay. I think that there's no reason for it. And I think that if you're in a league where there's possible collusion, then you need to get out of the league. Okay. So, you know, I think that it's not for me or anybody else to tell you how to do a trade. Okay. There's no, you know, two people see things differently than maybe you or I do. Okay. So I think that I never veto trades. I don't think I've ever vetoed a trade in my life of playing fantasy. And I think that if you have people in your league that you don't trust and you think that there's possible collusion, then you just have to get out of the league. And that's it. I mean, anybody have any horror stories when it comes to you know, to any collusion in their league? Because that really sucks when that happens. Like, I really hope that none of you had to go through something like that, because especially if it's somebody that you know and there's some of that going on like that. That's pretty crappy. All right. Hey, boss, I picked up Dylan as a running back handcuff for tonight. If he ends up being a dud, who would you get from the 1 p.m. games? Yeah, listen, And that was smart to do because if Aaron Jones gets injured, then you have a guy that's ready made in a potentially high end offense. So 1:00 games. I haven't done that video yet. Let me look at I usually do the handcuff videos on Friday, which I'll do tomorrow. But let me just see here. Because guys like Jaylen Warren have now been picked up. It gets harder and harder to use the handcuff running back strategy. All right, let me see. I wouldn't pick anybody in Atlanta, Chicago, Cleveland, Buffalo. I don't see anything. Naheem Hines, how about that? He's hardly even being used in Buffalo right now. Kenneth Gainwell, I would pick up. I would definitely pick up Kenneth Gainwell if he's available. New England, New York, I don't see that. Breida, yes, Michael P. Breida. Saquon Barkley, knock on wood, has held up to this point. Do you think Tony would be a wide receiver 3 if Juju doesn't? Oh, 100% Flipper. I already said that. I did a video earlier today. I don't know if you caught that. Tony is absolutely a wide receiver 3 who could provide wide receiver 2 numbers if he happens to play this week, if Juju doesn't happen to play this week. And Isaiah Spiller is another one, but that for the 1:00 games, I would look at Isaiah Spiller as well. Because, Austin Eckler too, and they're going for it 4th and inches. Unless they're just trying to – oh, look at that play. Great play. First down. Hey, listen, they're definitely ready to play for sure. They're definitely ready to play. So, I'm liking the way that Tennessee is playing so far. All right. All right. So what do you think they're going to do here now? I thought Treylon Burks would be more involved too. That's the other thing. And how about A.J. Brown, guys? So I think A.J. Brown, I talked about it earlier in the week. I think he's still that hot or cold, all or nothing guy that he was with Tennessee. All right. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on A.J. Brown? I think he's still running a little bit too hot and cold. He had that huge first week this season, and I think he's been kind of going back to that old Tennessee mode of just alternating really good and bad weeks. All right. I mean, last week, 1.7 fantasy points, just an absolute disaster. All right. There goes Henry. All right. Henry's, he's getting, 2-3 yards, 3-4 yards, I should say. Not terrible. Nothing too extravagant so far. All right. Yeah, he does play injured. So far, I have 4.3 total points between Lazard and Aaron Jones. Not the best start. And I say it every week. Thursday, my guys never do well on Thursday. Boss, I have to start 2. It's between Swift, nope, Foreman, Campbell, Pacheco, or Pickens. I would go, God, Paris Campbell. He's been interesting to me lately. I would, first down. Boy, they keep getting first downs. I would say Campbell and Pacheco. The reason why I say Campbell, Michael Pittman is going to have to deal with Darius Slay. So it stands to reason that Campbell is going to be open and targeted more than typical. Although he's been getting a lot of targets lately. It's been a lot of frustration for Paris Campbell, a lot of injuries early on in his career. So what we're seeing now is possibly his talent starting to come out, which is a good thing, finally. All right, timeout here for Tennessee. So what do we got? All right, so it's 10 minutes to go, a little less than 10 minutes to go. And I still have 1 catch for Allen Lazard. And listen, Christian Watson has 1 catch, and that shows you the fine line in fantasy football. Lazard's got 1 catch, Christian Watson has 1 catch, and Watson's got the touchdown. So, yeah, super frustrating for me. I'm looking at 8 points on my bench with Christian Watson. I guess I got to get him into my lineup now every week. But what it does do, too, in this one particular team, I have Lazard, Hopkins, and CeeDee Lamb as my starters. And I have Jacoby Myers as my flex. And I have Watson on the bench. So, and I also have Wan'Dale Robinson. I might drop him after this week if he doesn't do well. Wan'Dale Robinson's been disappointing so far this season. There's no, he had the decent first game back. And he's been very quiet ever since. So, I'm hoping that things pick up there. But I still think Odell Beckham Jr. needs to come to New York. That would be the best landing spot for him. Imagine Odell. Odell would be like a conquering hero if he came back to New York. He really would be. Like, it would be unbelievable for him. He would be the immediate wide receiver one. He would get a ton of targets, and I think that it would be, for his fantasy football value, it would be the best landing spot. All right. If he goes to Dallas, he'd have a better chance to score, but he's going to be clearly behind CeeDee Lamb. I mean, don't you agree? All right, so let's see what they're going to do here. It's a good game so far. Definitely a good game. I don't like the fact that Green Bay's offense has hardly been on the field, though. That's concerning to me as somebody who has two players going tonight. All right, so 2nd and 4. They are certainly chewing up a lot of clock. And Henry, this 3rd and short again. This has been a really good game plan. And I said this from the beginning, guys. This is a really well-coached team. All right. This is a team that, they're in every game. They're always playoff contenders every week. It's almost like the Baltimore Ravens too. The Ravens are always in it every season. They're always well coached. They're better than the sum of their parts. Another first down, man. Derrick Henry's gonna have 35 carries tonight. He looks pretty good. But if you're a Derrick Henry owner, that you need him to get into the end zone. That's the problem with Derrick Henry. Since he doesn't catch passes, that he has to get into the end zone for you to earn back your investment on him on a weekly basis. All right, let's see. I'm just looking through some more injury reports. Nothing else really. The beginning of the week we were blitzed with so many, big name injuries. Ooh, wow, they almost got to Tannehill there. All right, Treylon Burks with another catch. So, I like that. Treylon Burks is also, just like Christian Watson, starting to get more involved in the offense, which is what we need to see there from him. All right. God, I need Green Bay's offense to get back on the field. They got to come up with a stop. I mean, the defense has been on there for so long. They got to be getting tired. I've been really disappointed in this Green Bay defense. I really thought they would be better. They have the pass rush. They have decent corners, but for whatever reason, it's just not happening. All right, so Swain with the catch. So another 3rd down coming up, and they are just bleeding the clock here. Let's see. Yep, this first half is just flying right now. 13-play drive, 8.5-minute drive. This is crazy. Aaron Jones still with 3 fantasy points. Come on, let's get the ball back, Green Bay. Let's go. And I don't think other than Derrick Henry, I don't think anybody else really has any ownership in this Titan off. Another first down. Unbelievable. They're going to run this all the way down into the end zone. Green Bay's defense is gassed already, and it's only the 2nd quarter. Not good, guys. Not good if you're a Green Bay Packers fan. Odell to Ravens or back to the Browns would be interesting. Also Chargers. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about any of those teams. It makes sense. I've been hearing Dallas and New York are the 2 finalists. The reporter in Dallas, one of the beat reporters, I think the Dallas Morning News, said the same thing. And here in New York, it's been in the papers that Odell is choosing between the 2. And I really think Odell's coming to New York. All right, into the end zone, incomplete. Went for Robert Woods. Man, how bad has Robert Woods been, right? I mean, Robert Woods has been nothing. He's completely washed. There's another guy who's I think he's almost 30, if not already 30 years old. Should I start Tony over Gabe Davis? I would definitely do that. Tony is the number 1 wide receiver in this offense this week. You can say, MVS, but MVS is a deep threat guy. Tony's going to be using the slide. He's going to take handoffs. So they're going to use him all over the place. All right, let's get this Titans offense off the field, right, guys? My Christian Watson guys out there, they're going to run the ball here. All right, so Tennessee with another timeout. So that was a run formation. Yeah, Mike Vrabel's certainly a better coach than I thought he was going to be. You know, the Bill Belichick coaching tree hasn't been very good. Um, you know, Vrabel's the exception. You know, you look at Joe Judge, he failed. Um, you know, you look at Eric Mangini, he failed. Romeo Crennel failed. Um, the Notre Dame coach, what was it? Charlie Wise failed. So, you know, the New England coaching tree, not very impressive. Whereas the Kyle Shanahan coaching tree, the Andy Reid coaching tree, much more impressive. Thanks, boss. Love the content, Matthew. Hey, Matthew, thank you, man. I really appreciate that. Definitely means a lot. I owe all my success to you guys for sure. So, and you know, so I did my first college when I profiled the UCLA kid the other day, and I was wondering, you know, it didn't get as many views as the fantasy content, but I'm going to be doing the NFL prospects videos as well. What do you guys think of those? You want me to do you like those videos where I talk about the NFL prospects? And certainly during the offseason, I'm going to be doing a lot of that. And there's going to be videos on a daily basis during the offseason. Don't you worry. There's going to be a lot of fantasy stuff to talk about in the offseason, trades and free agent signings and whatnot. Yeah, knowledge is power. Listen, that's the thing too. We gotta, especially the offensive players coming out of college, we need to know about them because you know every year rookie receivers, rookie running backs. Look at Dameon Pierce, right? You know, I had a nice write up on Dameon Pierce in my draft guide. Maybe that would have helped somebody. You know, identify him sooner. I think the college stuff would be great as draft approaches and values change. But yes, I'm going to do that, Javier, for sure. What happened to Will Fuller? I thought he'd be back by now. I don't know what happened to Will Fuller. You know, he had the steroids bust. Maybe there was some off the field issues that we don't know about. He is always hurt, 3rd and 10. Oh my God. Look at this. They stopped him a yard shy and they're going to go for it. You definitely got to go for it. And they're just going to chew up more clock. What a drive. How many plays is this drive? Like 16 plays? I mean, this is ridiculous. What a piss poor effort by the Packer defense. All right, so Derrick Henry owners out there. Anybody in the chat, Derrick Henry owners? This could be your moment right here. You got to give it to Derrick Henry right here, right? All right, so Green Bay takes a timeout. Oh, Blair, you Derrick Henry owner, huh? So, Blair, let me ask you this. Were you nervous about drafting Derrick Henry? Do you play in a PPR league? How about that? Yeah, Matt Patricia, big fail for sure. Do you play in a PPR league, Blair? Because for me personally, I always avoid Derrick Henry every year, and it goes off every year, so shame on me. And Nick Chubb, again, because I play in PPR leagues, and I'm always trying to do better, getting a guy that catches the ball, and then it winds up being the wrong move because Chubb and Derrick Henry go nuclear every year. So, you know, that's where I've gone wrong with these guys in the past. All right, come on, let's get a stop here, Green Bay. Let them get in so we can get Aaron Jones back on the field. All right. Alan Lazard, 1 catch. Jesus Christ. Unbelievable. Rodgers is sitting there freezing his ass off. Nothing he could do about it, right? 11 minutes on the field. Yeah, it's ridiculous. They got to score. I mean, you can't have this many plays and get stuffed. Oh my God. Look at that. What? Oh my God. They can't stop them the entire drive, and then they stopped them on 4th and 1 with Derrick Henry. Holy smokes. Wow. 30-minute drive, no points. Yeah, that's crazy. Do play in a PPR league. I also drafted Chubb in the 2nd round. I had the 3rd pick. Wow. See, 6 and 4, Chubb and Henry. Listen, joke's on me. Those guys have been great for sure. So, Thanksgiving. Obviously, this Giants Cowboys game is going to be great. So, as far as Thanksgiving, I'm not going to be streaming on Thanksgiving. I want everybody to enjoy their family. No streaming on Thanksgiving. Even if there's injuries, I'm probably not going to do videos on Thanksgiving. The Thanksgiving is family time. If there's any injuries that happen on Thanksgiving, I will do an injury fallout on Friday. I do like the idea, by the way. The NFL next season is going to have a Friday game on Black Friday. So that makes sense because everybody's home. I think that's another good day to have a football game. Everybody thought Matt Patricia was a genius, but he failed. So yeah, he was annoying with the stupid pencil in his ear and all that stuff. And I think he's involved in the offense for the Patriots when he was a defensive coordinator previously, and then he came up as a defensive guy. And I just don't understand that. How you could adequately work both sides of the football. You're either one or the other. I don't understand that at all. All right. Come on, let's get Aaron Jones on the field here. Let's get some passes. Christian Watson and Allen Lazard still have one catch. So not what we're looking for so far. Yeah, man. DH, one catch. But hey, listen, if he finishes with one catch, at least it went for a touchdown, right? So that's what you want to have if you own either one of these guys. We got to get Allen Lazard more involved. George Kittle. So I just read a book, by the way, about George Kittle. That guy's an animal. He's worried. I was a book about tight ends, and he himself admits that he's worried about his career being cut short because of all the hits and injuries he suffered because he seeks out contact like Rob Gronkowski did. And listen, he's been nicked up quite a bit since coming into the NFL. So there's a guy who is willing to accept it, the possible early end of his career, because the only way he knows how to play is by taking on contact and just going all out every single play. All right, so this is going to be a big drive here, hopefully. Let's get some fantasy points for Aaron Jones. Let's get some fantasy points for Christian Watson and Allen Lazard here. I can't believe they stuffed him. After all of that, and they come down and they stuff him like that. And now for Green Bay, listen, you cannot go 3 and out here. Your defense has been on the field forever. You got to sustain some sort of drive. So AJ Dillon is in, not Aaron Jones. I think he's going to throw a pass here. Oh, nope, they ran it. God, so unimaginative. I mean, throw the ball. Come on, man. I mean, you run out AJ Dillon on a first down and get stuffed for nothing. I mean, he's again. I said he was David Montgomery. These guys he just doesn't have speed. I know he's big. He's a muscular guy. Yeah, Derrick Henry's pissed. Yeah, that sucks, man. If you're Derrick Henry, I mean, you did all that work and you get nothing out of it. Come on, Aaron, throw a pass here. Let's go. Oh my God, what is going on here? I just got done saying you cannot go 3 and out here. They have 2 unimaginative runs right up the gut with AJ Dillon against the strength of this Tennessee defense. I mean, like, what kind of bullshit is this? And this is the problem all year long. The play calling has been atrocious for Green Bay. I mean, you got Allen Lazard, you got Christian Watson, you got Randall Cobb, you got good receivers on this team, and they run AJ Dillon. Yeah, where's Aaron Jones, right? 3rd and 6. Unbelievable. Nobody's open. Oh, God almighty. Nobody's. I mean, like, you got to be kidding me, though. There's a flag down. Is that a hold? This is ugly, guys. This is just bullshit, man. This is ugly. Yeah, intentional grounding. Wow. That's just brutal. That is absolutely brutal. Just awful, awful play calling. I mean, like, and he's throwing. He pump fakes to AJ Dillon. So you want AJ Dillon on all 3 of these characters? I don't know what they're doing, guys. I don't get it. Yeah, vintage Thursday Night Football. The psychedelic tea really messed up Rodgers. I don't know what the hell it's done to him, but he just fucking sucks. I thought he was in the end zone too. That's what I was wondering. Man, what a joke. My team has it right now. Quarterback Fields, Cousins, running back Henry Chubb, Jeff Wilson, Carter, Pittman, Davis, McLaurin, Hollywood Brown. I mean, the receivers are pretty good, as well as Kupp is on IR. Yeah, that sucks. Tight ends, Ingram. Your tight ends are weak, Blair. Although Ingram has been okay. Pittman, Davis, a little inconsistent with Davis. McLaurin's been good. I think your team's pretty solid. I'm not a big Cousins fan, though. What are the Packers doing? Why do they keep trying these vanilla? Yeah, I don't know, L. Dot. I don't get it. I mean, you have a stud running back in Aaron Jones. You won last week, giving the guy 20 carries a game, and he's not even out there for any of those 3 plays. I mean, at least get him out there for third down when he can catch the football. Won my league last year, but this year is tough. Yeah, you know what? I don't know if any of you guys play fantasy baseball, but I think winning fantasy football is just so much more satisfying. You know, to have to survive all the injuries that we all inevitably get, and the up and down of the nature of the season, the fluke factor that drives us all batty. I think it's just so much more satisfying to win a fantasy football league. Uh, what's your thoughts on McBride filling Ertz shoes? Michael P. I'm not big on McBride. I did like him coming out of college. Yeah, fantasy baseball is too much for me too. I used to enjoy it, but I don't do it anymore. McBride, he maybe you monitor him. I don't think you pick him up. See what he does this week, and then react to it. Rookie tight ends very rarely do anything noteworthy in terms of fantasy production. I just don't see it yet. Yeah, the thing about fantasy baseball, I did a poll a while ago asking you guys if you wanted me to do fantasy baseball on the channel too, and I think almost every single vote was no. Nobody wanted fantasy baseball on this channel, and you know what? I respect that. You guys are the boss, so I'm down with that. And honestly, I would do it for you guys, and I'm still in tune to the game. I played it again this season, but it just doesn't do it for me anymore. I don't know. It's too long. Can I ask you a serious question? Who actually calls the plays? The coach or the offense coordinator, QB? That's LaFleur, I believe, calls the plays. I think he's one of the head coaches that calls the plays. So, and that's why there's a lot of discord between him and Rodgers. You saw Rodgers yell at him last week. No, not a stupid question. There's never a stupid question. Don't ever feel that way. But that was just brutal. I was thinking about trading Chubb for another wideout. His rest of the season schedule is kind of hard starting. Well, yeah, it is rough, Blair, for sure. And then you got to worry about the weather too. So, listen, you could definitely get whatever you want for Nick Chubb right now. Drafting AJ Dillon everywhere and then having to bench him all year is my number one. Yeah, Del J, AJ Dillon I thought would be a little bit, certainly be a flex play. There were times last season where you could play both AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones. Not this week. So, yep, still staring at the same fantasy points. And my opponent is creeping ever closer to me in the projection. Oh, my God. 3 minutes to go. And then they jump off sides. Just throw it to the end zone, man. Might as well. God, Green Bay looks like ass. I mean, they really do. This is just ugly. This is bullshit. This defense is back on the field now. They're going to be exhausted. Tennessee's going to come down and score again. Hey, you know what? In the second half, then, they're going to have to throw the football. Yeah, I thought he was in the end zone, too. That was close. All right. That was close. That was borderline. All right, let's see what they do here. Derrick Henry, I'll probably get another carry here. Looks like a run formation, which it was. All right, so a couple of yards there. So, yeah, listen, both of these teams, nothing really. This is very vanilla offenses for both teams so far tonight. Not impressed with either side. Tannehill threw the ball well early on. Now they're just kind of getting away with it. They're just grinding down Green Bay. They're keeping Rodgers off the field, which, listen, that's an effective strategy. If you can keep Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones off the field, great. So, and he's only got 3 completions. Nice pass. There's Robert Woods. So, again, Tannehill's been on target all night. Playing really well tonight. Definitely like the way he's been going. So, guys, as far as tonight, like I did last week, I'm going to go to halftime, and I'm going to let you all go. And, again, thank you guys for the super chats today. Really appreciate it. Totally grateful, and it definitely helps out to the channel. So I definitely appreciate all your support. Couldn't do any of this without you guys. Now, as far as tomorrow is concerned, Football Friday, I'm going to probably come on around 5. I think 5 o'clock is usually a good time. We can go over the final injury report of the week. And so 2-minute warning, unbelievable. So Green Bay's not going to see the ball again this half. At least they'll get it first in the second half. As far as tomorrow, again, going through the injury report, want to see what Kyler Murray does. Want to see what DeAndre Hopkins does. Arizona's been getting decimated all of a sudden. And here's the thing, too. If DeAndre Hopkins were to miss Monday night, and Marquise Brown plays, then you got to go Marquise Brown. So, as a matter of fact, I didn't even think of that. So I have DeAndre Hopkins in one of my leagues. So now I need to come up with somebody to have as a stash just in case. So I'm going to stick Hopkins in the flex and move Jacoby Myers to the wide receiver spot so I can give myself the option. So who are they playing again Monday night? So they're playing San Francisco. All right. Well, I don't know how many options I'm going to be able to get there with San Francisco. Kittle and Debo and Ayuk are all taken, and Eli Mitchell, I'm sure, is taken as well. So, yeah, that's a potential problem I didn't even anticipate. So I got to see tomorrow. If DeAndre Hopkins doesn't practice tomorrow, then I'm definitely concerned. I want to see what he does. I want to see what Kyler Murray does. Yeah, it's been a brutal week for injuries for sure. And, every week, when I do this and I see guys go down left and right, I'm just always, is this the week where my team gets destroyed? I think we all have that innate fear each week when we start watching the games. And I have the Sunday ticket, so I got all the games up on the TV. And I don't know if anybody else here has Sunday ticket, but it is an overwhelming experience every week. By the time you're done, like, I'm exhausted. I almost don't even, I very rarely watch the Sunday night game, unless it's a great game. Just because I'm exhausted from watching, 7 hours of every game on one screen. Your eyes get tired. It's a lot. And anybody here that has kids, when it comes to football Sunday, you got to really kind of tread carefully with your wife. My best advice to all dads out there: do every single chore you could imagine. Let your wife sleep in, feed the kids, bathe the kids, change the kids, clean the house, vacuum, hell, wash your wife's car. Do everything you can up until 1 o'clock. Make lunch for the kids, make breakfast for the kids. If you can knock out breakfast and lunch for the kids, then you're good. Hopefully you don't have to do anything with dinner. Your wife sees, oh, wow, he did the first two meals. I'll take care of the rest. That's what you got to do. You got to bust your ass until 1 o'clock. Let's say, hey, boss, what made maybe getting into fantasy football? This is my third year playing fantasy football. It's actually fun. What got me into it? I started with fantasy baseball, and then once fantasy football came around that following fall, I'm like, you know what? I do fantasy baseball. Let me try fantasy football. And I love it. Fantasy football is so much fun, but it also is very, very stressful. I think we could all attest to the fact that fantasy football drives you absolutely crazy. When you're going against somebody and they get like a fluke touchdown. A couple of weeks ago, I was going against Saquon Barkley and Tyler Lockett. They were playing the Seahawks. Tyler Lockett fumbles from their 1 yard line, and that sets up Barkley at the 1 yard line and he scores. Like, stuff like that just drives me absolutely insane. And that particular instance drove me insane as well. So look at that time of possession, 11:35 to 1:35. Listen, you can't win in fantasy football when you have Green Bay Packers that are on the field for a minute and change. Absolutely pathetic. Just a joke. They better come out in the second half and have some semblance of a good first drive. It's really obvious what Tennessee's doing. They're just grinding out the clock as best they could. All right, so the Packers keep taking timeouts here. They're not going to allow them to. So a big 3rd and 7 coming up. Hey, listen, if Green Bay can get the ball back, if they get a stop here and get the ball back, then they're going to have to throw, right? So my Christian Watson fans out there, my Christian Watson owners, that's what we're all hoping for right now. And, Aaron Jones should be in there too for, pass receiving, hopefully. The last 2 minutes of a half, man, second quarter and fourth quarter just take forever. And then, the instant replay is a pain in the neck too. They review everything now. God, Aaron Rodgers is such a tool. I just can't stand him. Great player, don't get me wrong. I just can't stand the guy. He's just very unlikable. It's hard to root for Aaron Rodgers. If you were to construct, he's probably the most talented quarterback I've ever seen in terms of arm strength, quick release, speed, athleticism, you name it, accuracy. He checks every box. Oh my God, he got a first down. Wow, they cannot get a stop. Like this is just absurd. And now they're going to go hurry up. Green Bay doesn't have any more timeouts. They're using now. Robert Woods all of a sudden realizes the football season has started. Hey, listen, I got to hand it to Tennessee. Yeah, they're absolutely picking this defense apart. I mean, it's pathetic. So what do they got? Minute 24. I just want Green Bay to have some time on the clock. And this is how we all watch fantasy football, right, guys? For me, Aaron Jones, I got to get him back on the field. I'm hoping to God that they can get the ball back. I think they got to. No timeouts left, right, Tennessee? Or do they have one more? I don't know what the hell that was. All right, so third down. Hopefully they don't get a first down or no pass interference in the end zone. All right. All right, the big play here. Come on, let's get a stop, right, guys? Rodgers doesn't even get along with his family. Somebody heard him. Yeah, he doesn't. My wife watches The Bachelorette or Bachelor, whatever, or both of them. And his brother, Jordan Rodgers, was on it. He actually was picked by the girl on the season that he was on, and they got married. So, it actually worked out. And Jordan Rodgers had spoken how they don't get along. Look at this. They got a first down. I mean, is anything going to go right tonight? They're going to milk this clock all the way down. Green Bay sucks, man. They just suck. But Jordan Rodgers spoke about how they don't get along. Wasn't speaking with his parents, Aaron Rodgers, for a while. So, it wasn't a good situation. And it just goes to show you the kind of person he is, honestly. Are they going to run it here? They have a timeout, right? Yep. Knew it. Touchdown. Derrick Henry owners. There you go. And there's no time left on the clock. That absolutely worked out perfectly. All right, Flipper, $3 super chat. Thank you, Flipper. I really appreciate that. Much appreciated. Again, everybody that gave me a super chat tonight. Never asked for it, never expected, but greatly, greatly appreciated for sure. All right, give Henry the ball. But yeah, he definitely gave Henry the ball. Should I trade Mixon and Rondale for Higgins and ETN 12-man PPR? Trade Mixon and Rondale for Higgins and ETN. Oh, yeah, for sure. Took me a second to digest that. Yeah, I definitely would do that. I like T. Higgins a lot. I mean, I know the touchdowns haven't exactly flowed, but he's been very good overall. Yeah, Michael P., this has been rough. Hopefully Rodgers starts splitting the next half after school. Yeah, Flipper, I hope so, man. We need to get Aaron Rodgers going. This offense has to get going. For my own sanity, we really need to get some Aaron Jones points, Alan Lazard points, Christian Watson points, all of them. That's how I found out. My wife watches The Bachelorette too. Yeah, DH, man, I'm telling you. And you know what's funny? I'm not ashamed to admit this, all right, because I think we have mostly guys in here. I love The Bachelor. Because listen, there's 30 freaking hot women on the show. They're all fighting with each other. They're all gorgeous, and they it's great. I mean, it's just constant drama. The Bachelorette, you got 30 dudes, the ultimate sausage factory. No, thank you. Have no interest in watching that. But The Bachelor is awesome, man. I mean, every guy's dream. I mean, could you imagine being in that situation? You watch The Bachelor, and you're like, oh my God. And you got to be careful if you're watching with your wife. You can't, you can't say too much, but it's like the bachelors that do that. It's like every dude's dream, right? Never play your players on Thursday. Yeah, Joe, I'm telling you, man, Thursday never works for me. All All right, so now this guy's going to return and take more time off the clock. I hate fantasy football sometimes, man. I'm telling you. Now, if they come out and run, watch, they're going to run A.J. Dillon right up the middle, right? Wow, Thursday Night Football. Oh, that's the Thanksgiving game. That's right. No, wait. What are we looking at here? Aren't the Bills playing the Lions? Oh, that's the next Thursday night on Prime. Okay, I get it. That's right, because they have the NBC's Thursday night. That's right. And that was the best thing the NFL ever did, adding that third game on Thursday night. All right, come on, man. Let's go. If they hand it off, I'm going to absolutely lose it. All right, good. At least they're throwing it. And a check down to Jones. All right, hey, you know what? I'll take it. Get out of bounds. All right. Hey, I'll take the fantasy point. All right. Yeah, the Bills are third in their division. And you know what? The Jets, honestly, that Jets defense is legit. If I was a bachelor, I'll take all of them. Yeah, right. Show's over for sure. Yeah, man, I'm telling you. That show is just wild. Absolutely wild. All right, so Aaron Jones, let's see. What did I get out of that one? So I have 7.5 points altogether. So Jones has 6.3. I mean, he's got 3 catches, 6 carries for 20 yards. Oh, he's wide open. There you go. There you go. All right. I'll take that. And they have they're holding him down, man. Come on. I guess I was behind the all right, so 6.5 already. This Prime stream is behind Yahoo's updates, and of course incomplete. All right, guys, that's the half. So there it is. Jets defense Jets defense is legit for sure. All right, guys, I'm starting to lose my voice, so that means it's time to go. Awesome stream tonight. Thank you all for the super chats. Greatly appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock for the live stream. Enjoy the rest of the game. Great chatting with you as always. I will see all of you tomorrow, guys. Take care.